Hey everyone, Brendan Sander here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me, and welcome to a special review for the new Wall of Voodoo album called The Lost Tapes Live. It comes out April 12th of 2025 for Record Store Day. 2 LP set, 16 tracks on here, being released by Label 51 and Flatiron Recordings. Definitely want to take a look at this. We will do a full review and unboxing of it, so stick around for that. Before we do though, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by turning on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on really cool things like this, where we're talking about the new Wall of Voodoo album, The Lost Tapes Live for Record Store Day. I love being able to get this stuff a little bit early and review it for you guys, talk about it, and hopefully help you guys make a decision if you want to get in line and get one of these. And for something like this, I'm already highly recommending it, but let's back up a bit and talk about the thing. So, originally, the band was active from 77 to 89 and largely an underground band. I mean, they did have a short period where they had some super success behind the song Mexican Radio in 1982. I mean, MTV kind of blew that thing up for them, but they never really hit that or peaked like that again. And ultimately, the band has two eras to it. So 77 to 83 was the Stan Ridgway era on vocals, and then 83 to 89 is where his successor came in, Andy Preboy, and he took over vocals. And so you've got the band in this split period. It's kind of very interesting. It still all sounds Wall of Voodoo, but there is definitely a different feel between those two eras. And they only recorded 4 studio albums in total. Dark Continent 1981, Call of the West 82, which had the song Mexican Radio on it, 7 Days in Sammy's Town from 85, and then Happy Planet in 87. And it's 2 with each singer, so no matter who you like or whatever, you've got that at least in here. The bulk of the live tracks that are on, this is actually 2 LP sets, so you get a lot here. 16 tracks total are from those second 2 albums, the Andy Preboy era of the band. That's what that is. So let's go ahead and talk about what this is, in fact. So first and foremost, Record Store Day, the quantity of this is 1,200 copies. It is a Record Store Day first, which means that there's a possibility that after Record Store Day, it will get a wider release. Usually, though, things like the color vinyl and stuff like that stay unique to Record Store Day, but I have had things where they didn't get that wider distribution later on. So for me, at least, I never wait. If I want something, I'm picking it up for Record Store Day. But I did want to also point this out, that it comes with this cool like Japanese OBI strip style thing on here, and it tells you a little bit about it. So when you're in the store, you're actually going to be able to read that and see and get a little bit more insight. Of course, it shows you that it's got both red and orange translucent vinyl on here. Now, the lineup on here, because this covers a period of time, it has, of course, Andy Preboy on vocals, Mark Moreland on guitar, Bruce Moreland on bass, who wasn't there at the end, Chaz T. Gray on keyboards, and also Roger Mason on keyboards, and Ned Lukehart on drums. So those are the guys that make up the various lineups that play on this, because this is recorded over a period of time. First and foremost, the tapes here are 35 years old. They were lost and then eventually found, compiled from 24-track and cassette tapes on various late 80s era tours that the band had done. That's why we've got a few different members in there. In just a minute, I'm going to open this up, but there's some photos in here that talk about the whole process of this thing. So they find these tapes, they have to bake them, they have to restore them, and the process that they go through. And that's all there. We're going to get into it in just a bit. Unfortunately, though, with all this great information that I'll show you inside here, there was no exact info on when and where the songs were recorded, ultimately these tapes being lost and then found, and they did not have any of that info on it. So it's unfortunately lost to time at the exact shows, but they know this is late 80s era. It is the pre-boy era of the band. And I have to say, the musical content on here is amazing. The recordings sound fresh and reinvigorated. I don't know all that they did between the salvaging process, but it sounds really good. There is fade in, fade out between the tracks because it's not all one show. But even with that on here, it just sounds really good. Each one, every time it fades out, I want more. And I'm so glad when it comes right back in. And as I said, 16 tracks on this thing and all was very, very nice. So again, I'll show you the front of this thing with the OBI strip on here, and I'll just flash the back again real quick. But let me take it out of this now, because, you know, I already opened this. I've already been listening to it and enjoying it. That's why you're seeing it in there. But here's the cover of this. And so this shot here is actually the moment they found these, that was the first thing that caught their eye. Obviously, they didn't say that on it, but it was one of the tapes like that, and they dug through this thing. And if I open this up here and I show you the inside of it, again, there's that shot. There's the trunk. There's more tapes that they found here, and just some other cool shots of stuff of them doing the restoration. And that's what all this write-up is that's in here, is that process that they go through. So you get a cool little storyline along with this thing about the process, and it's done by Andy Preboy, so he's talking about it here. And you know, I gotta say, it was just fun to get that little extra insight of information while listening to this, to read about it, to know what they had to go through, to know that, you know, these were almost lost to time sort of thing. I mean, if they had never been found and you know, discarded for some reason, what a shame that would have been. But as I said, it's 2 LP set, so A, B, C, and D side. There's the list of all the musicians that I gave, you know, rattled off to you guys. And then they've got very nice inner sleeves. And again, these are a nice cardstock on here. You've got the lyrics to the songs that are part of this. And if I can, there we go. So I'll pull this one out here. Just beautiful. I guess that this is orange, although it looks a little red to me. They had listed, or I take that back, it is supposed to be red and orange. So this is the red one, translucent, but very beautiful. I don't know if you can see the light coming through that or not, but I'm very happy with that. Let me pull out the other one. So the other sleeve, very similar to what we just saw. Cool photos and extra stuff that are on these things, you know, concert flyers and stuff like that. And then here's the orange one, which comes a little bit more yellow, but very cool nonetheless. So you can see my hand through it. There's showing you the translucentness, but all very nice nonetheless. And I also just enjoy these, the inner part of the LP there that you're seeing. But all in all, very cool. And so as I said, sometimes the record store day first things that have the colored vinyl, it isn't that later on. So there is a reason to go out and grab these things in record store day. And I've had a couple instances where those things didn't get the wider releases later on. In fact, I'm still waiting for a few things from last April that were said to be record store day first that never happened. So I am glad I picked up those LPs at that time. But bottom line, for this particular release here, I have to say, it feels a bit like I was stepping back in time for this thing. So good to hear these songs being brought to life the way that they are. And you know, I was saying it, but imagine if they hadn't stumbled upon these tapes and found these tapes and, you know, remained hidden forever. I think it would have been a real tragedy, especially after you hear the quality of these recordings. And in the end of the day, they've chosen to release these as a tribute to Mark Moreland, the guitar player, just out of the quality of what this is and how good it is, and the playing and the style that he did, you know, throughout his whole career, but definitely on these last few years of the 80s in here. All in all, I gotta say, I highly recommend this release. It just hit me in a way that I can't even put a finger on as to why. I've always enjoyed the band, but the punchiness and the excitement and everything that is within these live recordings, and hearing it was just really good to me. So I definitely recommend this. It's coming out on April 12th, 2025 for Record Store Day. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you're a fan of Wall of Voodoo and you're checking this out. So there you go. That is my review of the new Wall of Voodoo, the Lost Tapes Live. Again, this is being put out by Label 51 and Flatiron Recordings. So thanks to them for getting this out into the hands of us fans. Always great to be able to get cool, unreleased stuff like this from our favorite artists. All right, everyone, take care. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.